You know I'm ready to ride. He gonna collect you with my husband. Don't collect me with your fan. All right, we just gonna give them a little second to come on in. Come on in, y'all. There go that eye. Come on in. I just got the doggone notification, so they just got it. Come on in, y'all. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, and come on in and share the video. Come on in. We are reporting live from the car. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. We are reporting live from the car. We are in the parking lot of the casino. So just come on in. Come on in. Hey, Tasha and Cynthia, y'all come on in. Who all on here? Because I see people on here, but I can't tell anybody saying that. Y'all come on in, because it's come on in, Keisha. Come on in, y'all. Come on in, Miss Tanya. Y'all come on in so we can get ready to get this interview started. This is gonna be a really interesting interview. Come on in, Amy and Gifted Bridgers and Shanika and Lavita. Y'all come on in, honey. Come on in and join the live, because y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to get in somebody's business. Come on in, Deidre. Y'all know what time it is. We finna get in somebody's business and we finna get us a little warning. This right here finna be a little warning. You know, we can't categorize every African, and we're not categorizing every African. But this right here is a scheme that goes on in the African in America when it comes to them Africans. Turn it down, somebody. This is a scheme that goes on when it comes to them Africans, and we're not saying all Africans. So I don't want to offend anybody. We're not trying to say all Africans are bad people or all Africans are schemers and scammers, but a lot of you motherfuckers are. So we're gonna talk about it today. So you know what? Come on in. So today we have and I'm in the car. In case y'all can notice I'm in the car, because you know we over here at the casino, and I had to come out here and do my interview. Work don't stop. I still gotta do my work. Come on in, Shirley. So babe, stop laughing. You know what I'm saying? So today we have a very beautiful guest here with us today, and she's on here to talk about something that is very I'll say it happens a lot in America. It happens a whole lot in America, and a lot of you got women that knowingly go into situations knowing that they're going to be schemed and scammed, and it's a setup, and it's a situationship. And you have people that actually love people and go into it with good intentions, and they fall in love, and you know they want a family. So we have Miss JOLISA. What you want me to call you? Because you got 5 names.
Well, my last name African now, but it's Stallworth is my maiden name. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. So okay. Stallworth. But for the purposes of this interview and what my name is now, Juma.
Juma.
Yeah.
Okay. So JOLISA Juma.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have Miss JOLISA Juma on here with us today, and she's going to be telling us her story about meeting someone that she thought was authentic and that she loved, and finding out that it wasn't all that it presented itself to be. So, Miss JOLISA
Juma. Yes.
You already told us where you're from. You're from Birmingham, Alabama. Yes. Okay, so we just gonna get right on into the tea, because this is a story. Look, this is a whole Lifetime movie. So the first thing we're talking about, I guess first I want to ask you is, how did you meet your husband, and where did you meet him at?
I met him on Plenty of Fish when I first moved to. Yes, Lord. Do the fan for yes, Lord.
Let me get your fan out for your ass. Don't nobody on POF want to do but fucking scheme.
Lord, but listen. The reason why is because I had just moved here. I ain't had no car, and I was literally just looking for a fucking scheme. Well, not fucking scheme, but just fucking.
Right.
I just wanted somebody to get my rocks off with real quick.
Right.
To be honest with you. And when I met him in person at Waffle House, he came at me like what I was really looking for, because at this day and time, you can't really tell somebody I want a serious relationship. You gotta lead with situationship. I feel you forced to do that because that's what everybody doing.
Right.
And he hit me with the, I'm looking to settle down. I want a family. I can't find it. You look like you everything I ever wanted and more. And I felt at that time in my life that he was genuinely saying that because of all the events that led up to it. My mom had died, and he just let me confide in him about that and everything. I was in a very vulnerable situation. And so when I met him and he was doing everything that I couldn't get nobody to do I was single for about 5 years before I met this man on Plenty of Fish. I was like, wow, this is God finally sending me where I deserve. And I went head first into it. And I was pregnant 2 weeks later and living with him. We wasn't married yet, but we was staying together. And when I moved in with him, that's when I got to see the real deal. I got snippets of it. They gradually, because I'm also a victim of domestic violence, and I'm learning that they gradually introduce these things and intensified over time.
Right,
so
right.
I found out he was married to somebody before me.
Okay, so was he married to someone in? Okay, so first of all, where is he from exactly?
Okay, he's from Ghana.
Okay, so was he married to someone from Ghana, or was he married to someone in America already?
He was married to someone he paid over $10,000 from America that was older than him with 3 kids that they didn't even live together.
So okay, so if he paid her, that means he was paying her to get citizenship,
right?
So did he already have citizenship when you met him?
No, he had a work visa, and the way that works is, and now that I learned that too, it only is good for 1 year, and you only can apply for it when you marry somebody and they are applying for a green card with you. Once they put in their application with you for a green card, you can go to some building and do your fingerprints and stuff and get your work visa without doing the interview or anything. And that's how you get some type of documentation saying you could be here for at least a year. And then the real deal is the green card application. And that's when you got to go in with your person that you married and do an interview so they can see if it's real or not. And that's longer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So with him being already married, and you didn't find this out until after you were with him. So let me ask you this: does that mean that your marriage to him is illegal?
No. What happened was he told me about all of this and told me that it wasn't real, and made me feel like he had found true love, and also told me he was flat broke from paying her and she didn't do it right. And so what I was already pregnant. So what he did is tell me he was finna divorce her because they was already under investigation from the immigration office. And he was finna divorce her because she was scared she was finna go to jail, and he was scared he was finna get deported. And then once he divorces her, that we could get married. So we ended up getting married. He divorced her in July. We got married. My baby was born in October. There's so much to say. October 2019. Okay. And then December 2019, we actually got married on the day I met him. Okay. At a courthouse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So y'all get married. Him and the other girl. So that divorce is over with or whatever. They're divorced, and so you guys are married. Yeah. Okay. So when you met this man, so obviously he made you feel that his intentions were pure and that he completely intended to make you his wife, and he was in love with you and all these things. And the reason why I say that, because look, we gonna just keep it real, and I know it's a lot of African people that watch my show, because I can look on the back end and see what countries watch me, and I love y'all Africa, and y'all watch me, and I fucks with y'all, but there's some scheming motherfuckers that just come on in, right? Tell the truth. There's some scheming ass people that come over here from Africa with the intent on marrying somebody just to get a green card and get citizenship. Right. So, okay, so you fell for the okie doke, because we know if you ever watch African movies, that's how they talk for real. Like with all the love and you're beautiful and all that shit. Right. All that shit. They do all that shit. They woo you in. Right. So okay, so you guys get pregnant, you have a baby, then you get married.
Mm-hmm.
When did you really begin to see? What was the instance of you that he really showed you that he wasn't who you thought he was?
He never would. When my baby was born, he wasn't. Because what also made me feel like it was a good idea to start a family with him, he was so hands-on with these people he introduced to me as his actual family members, which I later found out they weren't. Because in their culture, they call everybody their brother and sister. So basically, he was so hands-on helping with this lady and her children and babysitting and stuff. I thought he was, and he said he had, he said, I got 5 brothers and sisters. I helped raise them, and I'm the oldest. I thought he was going to really be that dad that I wanted for my child when I had a child one day. And he wasn't. He didn't want to have nothing to do with her or me. He made sure he was never home. He said he was door dashing, and he had to DoorDash to make.
They love a good old DoorDash or Uber job.
Yeah, and he had me working. I worked from home and was still taking my whole checks for the bills. And I'm like, how you DoorDashing? You got a 9 to 5 full-time job, and you taking my bills. I mean, and you taking my check while we still broke. That's what made me start asking a lot of questions. Right. And it went from that to me discovering he ain't even really DoorDashing, to him staying out all night saying he got to help this lady that's not even his real relative, and he not really being there. And then it was just a lot of cover-ups that I was uncovering. And I can go on and on with that. But that's what started. That's what catapulted it. My baby.
Wow. Yeah. So he actually ended up not even wanting the baby, having nothing to do with the baby that he done took. Now we're gonna get to that part. Right. So, okay, you go on and on and on, and you're starting to see little things. You're starting to notice that, little glimpses of, this is not the person that I married or that I thought I married. He wasn't the person that I thought he was. Right. Okay. And so then you guys let me get my notes, because baby, you wrote me a goddamn book.
Right. I mean, that's why I'm trying to stop myself when you ask questions, because I could go on.
No, it's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay. Take me to the incident. Okay, I guess, yeah. Take me to the incident on Labor Day. Okay. When and take your time. Yeah. To the incident on Labor Day when you ended up going to jail and losing your daughter. Let us know how that happened.
Oh Lord, we didn't skip the meat and potatoes.
Oh, go ahead. Go back. Okay. Go back. You want to go back to the relationship? Yeah, because without saying how all of this led up to that day, I'm really not gonna even sound like the victim, because that day was my breaking point, and that day I stood up for myself and my baby. Finally. But I finally, but that took a long time, because he deserted us in June. This is when everything fell out. But because he got all the bills and shit.
He turned off the lights, he disconnected the internet, he disconnected. We were on a family plan. He suspended my phone line because I'm still on this. Actually, this phone right here is the family plan, and now he keep it for the purposes of keeping up with who I'm talking to and monitoring my phone. But basically, he added. So what he did was he started a whole new relationship with another poor, low income, vulnerable African American female that he met at work. That here in Georgia, I realized it's straight savage, it's straight survival mode for these girls, and I'm not like that. Right. So basically, she was just happy to get somebody that was treating her like something too, and not only that, he was willing to pay a bill or two at her place. He didn't left us in June. June on Father's Day. He likes to start situations when he doesn't want to participate in things. He'll start an argument. So he started an argument, and this the first day that I realized that he was trying to get what's called Victims Against Women's Act. And it's when an immigrant creates a situation where it looks like they're a domestic violence victim. So So y'all better listen. Right. Y'all listen. Because as long as you as an immigrant are married to somebody and you can prove in your marriage, no matter how short the marriage is, You can prove in court documents or some kind of police report or something that at one point they did something violent towards you and you have custody of the child, you can apply for your green card by yourself and you can get a work visa by yourself. You don't get deported. And at this point, he had no documentation. His work visa had expired from his first marriage. And because of COVID-19, everything was on hold from when me and him applied. So the things that he would have been able to do in a timely manner that he did the first time, it wasn't happening. He started making inquiries with USCIS, which is the United States Customs Immigration Services. He kept on making inquiries with them and and intercepting my mail where I couldn't even see, and he knew I didn't know nothing about immigration. I couldn't even see what they were sending me to know what was going on. And he started panicking and he started making demands about his green card application and started telling me how our daughter could keep him here. He said that when before he got me pregnant, he said, "Did you know that once my daughter is born, it'll make it look more real, and they will give me my green card just for having a child because they're gonna want to keep me here to take care of her." But it didn't register to me what exactly he meant by that. I just thought maybe he thought our child would be special, and maybe he wanted an American born child. I didn't know. And now that I know about the Victim Against Women's Act, I know what he really meant because this is exactly what he did. So on June 21st, he created a scenario where he provoked me to have to defend myself against him and push me into a doorway with my baby on the hip. So that very day, I ended up in a situation where I had to flee the home, and because he called the police and pretended as if he had been maced and feared for his life and said I maced my baby too. So I got in my car and grabbed my baby and we left because I didn't want to be there when the police got there. I didn't want defects or nobody to take my child. When I came back, it was a whole police report and he had moved all his stuff out the house. He moved all his nice shoes he wanted, and he literally handpicked what he wanted. He took his shoes and his clothes, and that's when I knew he was gone for good. Because we, like any other couple, we had arguments. He'll leave and he'll come back. But this day, I knew this guy wasn't coming back. So I texted him and I said, "Hey, if you're not coming back, that's fine. Matter of fact, don't come back, but mail us," because he had took one thing that stood out to me. He had always told me that we need to keep all of our important documents in his folder together. He took her birth certificate, her social, my social, and the marriage certificate in his folder. I told him mail that back. So long story short, he from that day started harassing me through text messages and telling me what he can and can't do because, or what he can and won't do, because he still was on the lease and everything was in his name. And basically he showed up despite me telling him not to come to the house the very next day to bring those things, but didn't tell me he was coming, just to intimidate me. So from that day, I was on like guard, like not knowing when he was gonna bust in the house. I couldn't afford to change the locks. I was flat broke. He didn't turned off the lights. He didn't turned off the internet. I can't work, and I don't have no child care. I'm not set up to bounce back with my 8-month-old at that time exclusively breastfed baby. And so from that day, I did manage to figure it all out, and God blessed. And I had already applied for a job before he did this. So that job called me on and called me on my cell phone that he had not suspended yet and asked me could they do an interview. And I did an interview and they hired me and I was starting the very next week. So I was able to borrow some money and get everything back on, and I was able to work. And then after I was doing that, I had to keep it under wraps. Long story short, he worked around the corner. It's just, and I'm sorry if I'm taking over the interview because I have to.
No, you're not. It's your story to tell. It's not mine.
Okay, so he literally worked around the corner from our apartment complex at a warehouse, and I could not believe that this child that me and him playing, that literally is named after his best friend and my mother, he literally just got up and left her and they checked on her or don't care, like, and just had the lights off. I couldn't believe it. You work around the corner. So I pulled up to his job because I'm asking questions. I'm a human being. And who do I see but the girl that I didn't even know existed, because I thought he'd been doing dashing and really working all this time. Him and her in the car going about their life. And so I went from that moment to addressing them, and that turned into another situation where I called the police and did a police report, because I said, well, he's getting a paper trail on me, ma'am. I'm just calling you because she said, there's nothing I could do about you finding out your husband is cheating on you, ma'am. I said, well, I just need you to put a police report in or something, as I need some kind of record. He's trying to create some kind of fake paper trail on me. At least I have record of this, ma'am. Can you do that? She didn't even write no police report. And I'm skipping to today. I just found it out when I went to go pull it for my TPO. Which, anyway, like I said, I'm jumping from everywhere. But long story short, from that day on Father's Day, I didn't even know that because he called the police, I had a warrant put on me for my arrest, and I wasn't even at home to tell my side or nothing. Because in the county that we lived in, no matter what happens, whoever calls and says that they're being a victim of the domestic violence, that county, not the person, even if the person doesn't press charges, the county presses charges on the person. So I found out I had a warrant for my arrest for the first time in my life. I've never been arrested in my life. I had found out through the mail because the lawyer sent a letter in the mail saying that they would represent me for the warrant I had for my arrest. And I was like, wow, I have a warrant? So I texted him and he said, I said, why didn't you tell me I had a warrant? Why did you press charge? He said, I didn't do it. The officer said it's out of both our hands at that point when I was telling him the story. And he said that a warrant will be placed on your arrest, but I didn't do it. I said, well, who's going to watch our exclusively breastfed child that you have deserted, and I don't even know where you live or where you are? Who's going to watch her when I have to go and turn myself in to get rid of this warrant? And so from that day, skipping back to your question, because this is the second time now that I've been arrested in my life on September 7th, Labor Day, a lot of events of me turning the lights back on in his name, because I had to call and pretend to be him, to be honest with you, just to get the lights back on. He turned it off again from that from like the end of August. So that day on September 7th, him and the young lady that I told you that I seen, that I discovered he's in a relationship with, and he actually lives with in another county, they were in my county that day in front of my apartment complex. And I literally reached my breaking point. I was just coming from door dashing, because I kept on trying to, when he turned off the lights, I kept on trying to figure out how to flip it to where I could survive by myself with my baby. So I started door dashing in my car. And when I was coming home, they were sitting there in the parking lot of the gas station in front of my apartment complex. And I pulled over there, and next thing you know, we was in an altercation. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. We was in an altercation.
You and him?
Yeah, me. No, I never touched him, actually, because of my first arrest. The bond condition for that warrant that I had turned myself in and stayed in the holding cell for 3 hours at, that bond condition was no violent contact.
Okay.
So I made sure that I violently contact him, but I violently contacted the girl. Okay. And they lied. What happened was, when the police arrived, I was in shock. This girl ran me over with a car that day. Yeah. With a Ford with a Ford Escape 2012. And I have it on audio, and I put it on my Facebook. And I need to take it down, because I'm going to have to go to court for all of this. I don't even know what I should be and should not be saying, but I need to get this out. This girl hit me with a car. So I left the scene.
Just don't say nothing that you're going to contradict in court.
Right.
Whatever you say on here, say it in court.
Okay. Right. So I left the scene because I was in shock, called my friend instead of calling the police, because I'm a human being trying to figure out what just happened in my life. Right. And then she told me to go back to the scene and call the police. When I pulled back up, I kid you not, I kid you not, Kiana, is that right? Keandra, I'm sorry. I kid you not, Keandra, when I pulled back up, it was Africans out there that wasn't even there when we was fighting. And everybody had said that they was a witness to me being the initiator, and that nobody
Let me get that
mentioned.
bitch back in. Them motherfuckers stick together.
Did nobody mention that that girl hit me with a car? So when the police officer said what happened, I'm scared. I'm black. First of all, we going through Black Lives Matter. I got my baby in the back seat, and I just found out I done met the most evil man I've ever seen in my entire life. Right. I'm finna tell you what just happened to me, and that's what I led with. I said this girl just hit me with a car, and that's the girl that my husband's cheating on me with. I've never met her in a day of my life. They said, what girl? I said that girl there, and I pointed. And they said, huh? She hit you wet? She hit you with a car? Like, as if I was lying. Right. And I said, no, she did. Actually, right here. Well, show me how she hit you. Like, wanted me to demonstrate and everything. Long story short, they didn't want to hear no more of my story. And nobody read me my rights, told me to get out the car, and put me in the back of the police car. I said, but wait. Because, see, this is something that I want to mention, too. I was so proud of the fact that I waited till I was 30 years old as a black girl from the ghetto and got married and had a baby.
And did it right.
Right. So I made sure I wanted to let them know, wait a minute, hey, this is my character and this is my husband and that's her father, and this is why we're out here fighting, and he's cheating and he's the bad person. They didn't care about none of that. They said, you said what? Y'all married? I said, yeah. And actually this car that I'm in is in his name, and that's his baby. We just had her. They said that's his baby.
How old was your baby?
She was 11 months old.
Okay.
And they said, oh, okay, and handed my baby to him and handed the keys to him, and they ain't asked me nothing else. And I haven't seen my baby since that day.
So you haven't seen your baby since Labor Day of 2019?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. All right. So why haven't you seen the baby since Labor Day?
So what happened is I was in jail from when they locked me up that day for 3 days because it's COVID-19. Like I said, I was broke as a joke. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I had to figure out how to call people and come up with the money to get out of jail. Right. While he had my baby. When I was in jail, I was constantly asking all the sheriffs and stuff. I said, hey, I'm just trying to get out. I just got to get my baby. I was so elated that I even had a bond. And when they gave me the bond was $22,200.
Wow.
And you got to pay 15% of that. It was $3,000 for me to get up out of jail. But I was just believing in God. And I said, I'm just going to call my friend and I'm going to see if my friend could lend it to me. And the friend that I called happened to be my African friend from college that I told you made me even feel comfortable enough to feel like he could be real.
Go back to that part. Yeah. Just go back to that part where we was having a conversation and you was telling me that you felt a certain way about African men before you actually started dating one, but because you had got kind of involved a little bit within the African community and made some friends, they gave you a different perspective.
Yeah, everyone from the black community always said, oh, they aggressive, they controlling, they just be needing a green card, don't take them serious, they be wants multiple wives, all the stereotypes. So it took me going natural and not having weave in my head no more, and like really feeling like I was a conscious black woman and becoming friends with these African women that embraced me at that stage before this became acceptable. And it took all of that for me to look at them totally differently. I looked at Africa like most African American people from low income neighborhoods that haven't traveled the world look at it. Like the people on the commercial when they
with the bugs in their eyeballs and shit.
That's what I used to look at them like.
Period.
To be honest with you. Come on with it.
It's true. Most of us watching if we didn't have the internet, or we didn't was the one able to see shit for ourselves, we'll still be looking at them feed the hunger commercials and thinking that only Africans is riding the naked with big belly, skinny chest, and flies on their eyeballs.
Exactly. That's been the talk for years. So and I went from that thought process to, oh man, stop talking like that, girl. Stop saying the Africans finna do your hair. We all African. I looked at it like a unity thing. Like, stop looking at it like we're separate. We're all black.
Right, exactly.
Right. Let me tell you why. I have a very good friend. She drove all the way from a whole nother state, and she just met me and came to my mama's funeral. Like, I used to be gung-ho about making sure people don't look at them like that.
Right.
And turn around, and it was actually true. To be honest with you, the stuff happened. Now, the 40-cent commercials, some of them, they live very good over there. But the poverty is third world countries they're coming from. And the fight and the coldness and the whatever it takes to scheme and evilness to get their family over here, that's anything goes. That's very true.
Anything goes.
That's
Whatever they
very
have
true.
to do.
Yes.
And whoever they have to step on, whoever they got to marry, whoever they got to get pregnant, whatever they got to do to get over here, they're willing to do it in order to get their family over here to have a better life. Because America to Africans and to the Africans that I talk to, America is like this is like the land of like people really do like the land
of. Look at it like it's heaven.
They really do.
They go from the movies that they watch and all the movies, they take it as real reality that's how we live here. And they think they're gonna come to heaven. Then they get here and they have a rude awakening, but they don't want to go home and prove to the people from home that they didn't come here and make it like everybody else.
Right.
So they spend their whole time in existence here trying to prove a point to back home. That's what ends up happening. They try to prove that there's some type of successful American dream that everyone believes is possible where they're from.
Right.
They came to heaven and they weren't able to make it.
Right. So let us go back. Okay, so you end up going to jail and he end up getting the baby and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so the fight that you've been having since all of this has transpired. So you haven't been able to get your baby back. What are some of the things that you've been going through? Because you haven't seen your baby in like a year.
No, I haven't seen her in a month now. Her birthday was October 7th. So September 7th, 2020.
Okay.
All the way to now, I haven't seen my baby.
You haven't seen it.
Because what happened was, while I was in jail, he went and got a TPO.
What's a TPO?
That's a restraint, basically a restraining order, temporary protective order.
Okay.
And the way that the officers wrote it up here in the state of Georgia, and it's not like that in Alabama, from what I understand, because I actually have a friend that's an officer. We don't have no child cruelty charges for just having a child as a witness to you fighting somebody. But here in the state of Georgia, if your child is present while you fighting, that's child cruelty. So because I was charged with that, she was listed as a victim of the crime. And by her being listed as a victim of the crime and my blood condition saying I can't be around none of the victims and witnesses.
Wow.
It was justified for me not to see my exclusively breastfed baby.
Oh, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up and crazy. Wow. Okay. Oh man, look, Brooke, I'm like you. Oh man, that's okay. So look, I'm trying not to cry because look, because like I told you, I done dealt with a situation like this similar, so I completely feel where you're coming from. And I had to deal with not having my daughter for 8 months because me and her dad was married and we didn't have anything in the divorce. Saying that we had some kind of situation and he had her, and I literally had to go steal my baby back.
Yeah.
So
they leave you no choice but to do illegal stuff.
Savage shit.
They leave you no choice. I called as soon as I got out of jail, because all the sheriffs were like, all you gotta do is get escorted. When long as you're escorted, none of these bond conditions matter. As long as we're in the process, they said go to wherever your child is with him and have a police escort you, and you should be able to get her back. Well, that's a lie. Of course, you know that because you was married and you went through it. Right. They're gonna tell you need a court order because you're married and it's joint custody.
Yep, you cannot get your child back unless you take your child back, and then they got to fight like how you fight. Basically, the child can go to whichever parent, and whichever parent keep the child from the other parent. Ain't nothing they can do about it until they get a divorce decree.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Exactly. And then. So I called before actually, when I discovered that when I first got out of jail, and I discovered when I called the sheriff's office of the county that he was in, and they told me, man, we ain't going nowhere without no court order. I called defects because here's even more craziness. He should have been reported to defects. He's molested our daughter before. Yeah.
No.
So now I can't sleep at night like I couldn't sleep in jail. Because not only is my exclusively breastfed daughter that couldn't go to sleep without nothing but my breast milk and couldn't go to sleep in the bed by herself since she been born, now she's somewhere where I know he's not going to give her care if she's crying all night and neglecting her and she's not getting no breast milk, but he also could be molesting her.
Okay, so what makes you think that he could be molesting her?
Because when I stayed with him, he was told the dude stop doing what he did was he French kissed her like she was a grown woman. It wasn't penetration. Yeah. And now that I'm in a domestic violence shelter and talking to advocates and stuff, I realize that is just the beginning stages of them prepping them for penetration.
Yes. Yes. That is disgusting.
I told my friend, the African friend that I fought so hard for that's from his country, she works for defects. I told her, I said, hey, so when he left in June, I told her, I said, it's a lot, you know, I know you be busy. She just had her own little baby that's 2 now. I said, I know you be busy. You can't talk to me about my problems like you used to, but it's a lot I've been dealing with here. And he did XYZ to our baby. You think I should call defects? She said, no. Don't do that, because they're going to look at you like, why you just not saying that, and they're going to take their baby and put her in foster care. That's not even the truth. That's not even the truth.
Because, you know, I seen a video, and I shared it a while ago. It was this lady who was sticking her tongue in the baby mouth. They were African. Did you see it?
It was around that time. It was in February.
Okay.
That's when he did it.
Okay.
And that's why
they do that. They don't see. They do that. Men and women in Africa.
I didn't know that,
and they don't. There's nothing wrong with sticking their tongue in their child's mouth in French. Now, I'm not trying to say that everybody African French to kiss their kids, but I'm gonna find that video. I'm gonna go back and look for it and reshare it and show y'all that this man, that she ain't lying about what that French kiss and shit. They do that.
Right. And I'm so glad you saw that video, because I saw it too. And it was around the time I seen that video, and I had just told him when I seen that video, and it what he did was whatever I told him that was something that I've been through in life, or something that was like something that would make me feel very vulnerable, he would use it as a trigger. He would switch it over. He would listen like he cared at first, and
that's why you never pour your heart out to a man and tell him what you've been through and all that shit. Ain't none of his motherfucking business.
Lord, I done learned today.
Because they like to use it against you. Look, look, because we got when you see him French kiss the baby, what do you do? What came?
I said, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Don't do that. That is nasty. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? Because when I say y'all, I'm talking about the whole Ghanaian community at this point, because I've seen that video.
Right.
And so he said, you can't tell me what to do with my baby. There's nothing wrong with that. It's my baby. You can't tell me. It's my baby. I said, yes, I can. You don't French kiss no baby. That is disgusting. We don't do that over here. That's not normal. I don't know what y'all doing over there.
And don't tell them what you got in your mouth.
Right. Don't do that over here. She's a baby. And we had words over it. And because I'm in a vulnerable situation, my mom's dead, my dad's dead, I'm in another state, I don't got nowhere to go. I got tired of arguing with him about stuff. I got tired of being on edge of where I'm finna go. I just let it go. And what I did to resolve the situation is I kept making sure that if they spent time together, I was in the mix. Right. I didn't leave her alone with him for real no more. Right. But I noticed when I had to leave him alone with her, like if I had to go to the grocery store, or if I had to go and I don't know, well, basically that's the only time I did leave her alone, if I had to go to the grocery store. So when I come back home, I noticed her behaviors would be different. She would have, or even if I needed a break, because sometimes as a mother, you need a break.
Yes, you
And
do.
so
I'm
and
going
so
to
he
get
would
one
tell me,
Friday.
right. And he would tell me, if you want me to help you out and you want me to watch our baby, then you can't be in the room with us. And because you like to tell me what to do with our child, and she smell your breast milk, and she gets fussy, and I don't get to spend the time I want to spend with my baby. So if you want me to watch her, you got to be in the other room.
Well, that's some bullshit, because I breastfed all three of mine, and they daddy didn't have to tongue them down and all that kind of shit like that. It just don't make no damn sense. That's
Thank you.
bullshit. That's
Thank you.
perverted. That's
Thank you.
perversion. That is
Thank
perverted,
you.
and that
That
is
ain't even all he did, but
child molestation.
right. That's the meat and potatoes of what he did. That ain't even all he did.
Well, we
He
got
caressed
time.
her. He caressed her nipples. He used to, while she was sleeping, I would have her in the middle of the bed with us, and he would have, and she would be there, and I would be at the edge because I didn't want to fall off the edge, and he would be on the other side. And he had started getting to a point when she was about 6 months to when he left us, where he would act like, sometimes he would consciously be walking do it, and sometimes he would act like he just fell asleep doing it, and he would be caressing her nipples sensually.
Oh my God.
And I would hit his hand, and I said, "What's wrong with you? Don't do that." And I would get her and lay her on me so she could go to sleep like that on me, and wait till he was completely knocked out before I lay her back down in the middle of the bed. He also likes to expose his penis. He liked to lay there with his penis, nothing on, just his penis out. And I noticed she was too familiar with how to get to his penis.
Right. And she'll play with it. She don't know what that is.
Now tell me why I done told Defects all of this and ain't nobody took her to no professional yet. I told Defects this. I told the Special Victims Unit in Fulton County this. Excuse me. I spelled Special Victim Unit in Georgia this, in the county that he lives in, and the county that we live in. Ain't nobody took her to the professional. I thought they was gonna do a sexual assessment by now. It's been a whole month and a half now that I done told these people this, and ain't nobody took my baby for no checkup.
If he had penetrated her, it's giving her body time to heal.
That's what I told them.
To her.
That's what I
Either
told
put
them.
a finger in her or anything. They're giving her the body's time to heal. So when they do take the baby, finally come get the baby, ain't nothing gonna be wrong with the damn baby.
That's what I told them, and they know that. That's what I told them, and they know that. They told me, ma'am, this is what Defects told me, ma'am. We don't even take children to the hospital. We don't have that. We don't do that. What we do is we let the person who is in the custody of the child take, or whoever the parent is, take the child to the hospital. But we Defects ourselves, we can't take the child to the hospital. I said, well, ma'am, you told me you can't retrieve my daughter and give it to me because I have to have some kind of court order, and y'all don't do the court part. Y'all just check on the safety of the child. So if I'm telling you that the parent is also the person that's creating the situation that she's being molested, are you telling me that that person is the person you want to take her to the hospital? Ma'am, whoever has the baby, ma'am.
I'm so fucking disturbed. I'm so fucking disturbed. Okay, so look, let me tell you. So when he was doing that to the child, when he was doing shit, playing with her nipples and the shit, you ain't beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd have fucked me. I'm a fighter, and I know I'm a fighter. That's why I take my ass to counseling. I know I'm a fighter.
Right.
So I'd have fucked him up. You know what I'm saying? I'd have fucked him up. I wouldn't have cared if I had to sleep outside. We'd have been outside. We'd have been in the car. We'd have been wherever the fuck we had to be at, but with that motherfucker. So
I should have beat his ass that day.
You should have beat his ass.
But the conditioning had already taken effect as well.
Right.
The conditioning of, oh, it's my fault. Oh, maybe I did something. Maybe I need to apologize for looking at it this way. He was really manipulative. So what you do is you find yourself, well, hold on, let me figure out how to word this before I say it to him, because he gonna say this, and then I need to be able to say this. And when you get through saying whatever you say, he gonna tell you he's disgusted by what you said, and how dare you look at him like that, and he need a few days to calm down. But what I figured out is that's him trying to come up with the perfect excuses and the perfect explanations for the crazy shit he did. And then when he get through saying those things to you, he's so good to where when he get through, now you need to apologize to me so I
Right.
can feel like having you in my presence again.
He done flipped it on you.
That's what I've been going through
So
since
when
I've
you
known him.
so you had to be, because I talked to a lot of women and I've been depressed before. You had to be
I was.
and you had to have some low self-esteem.
You know what? And that's why I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. Looking back on it, I did, and I guess I thought I didn't, but I definitely did. I had weighed the most weight I ever gained in my life. I was 275 pounds when I met this man. I used to be 135, 150, fine.
Right.
And I had went through depression when my mom died. My mom died in 2013 when I was 23. So I never really got a chance to really get out what I was going through.
Right.
So to meet somebody that didn't care about my weight, didn't
Right.
care about my
Right.
little nappy hair,
Right.
and didn't care that I was around here broke and not successful and wanting the whole family with me, yeah, my little self-esteem issues and all that came into play.
Yeah.
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 Unfortunately.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that. I completely see, and you know what? And that's very much woman of you to admit that and not
Yeah.
make excuses for it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because people do accept and take shit that they wouldn't take if they were stronger or if they had people around them
Yeah.
to give them that strength if they ain't that strong. And
Yeah.
so obviously you didn't have a support system, and
Nah.
I can't make up no excuses, you know,
Right.
for you, but I can say that I can empathize and I
Yeah.
understand it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
really do understand it. I understand being vulnerable. I understand having low self-esteem. That's why when I see people with low self-esteem, I call them out on it. And
Yeah.
yes, you do, because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't have it. I
Yeah.
did some stupid shit when I had low self-esteem. That's why I'm calling you out on your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I see what it is. So,
Right.
what steps is it that you're taking, or that you can take, or that you need to take in order to get your daughter back?
So what I did was, it's so much because
Come
it's so
on,
much corruption.
come on.
Yeah,
We
I'm
got
gonna tell
we got
you.
36% on this computer. Come on.
Okay. Okay. So I filed a TPO. Okay. First, I went because I had already filed for divorce in July.
Okay.
I had borrowed some money, and I went and I filed for divorce at this address he lied and said he lived at, and had tried to have him serve, and he wouldn't accept the serve. So, but it was already in documentation in the court docs that a divorce is in process for me and him. So I Googled, stayed up all day and night, every day I got out of jail, and I was trying to figure out how to get a court order because I can't afford no lawyer myself to get my baby back, so I could show these officers, hey, I'm supposed to have my baby too. I went and filed a motion at court, literally went and talked to the clerk that always seen me, help me, and she said she can't give me no legal advice, but I come in there with my baby all the time trying to figure it out. She nudged me a little bit in the right direction, and I told her, how do I print this form? We don't have forms here. Well, what is the form I need to print? I can't tell you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to help you, but I can't tell you. Here, get this piece of paper. Gave me a blank sheet of paper. She said, write down what you're asking for on this paper and head it with this format, like the regular normal sheets of motions and stuff.
Right.
That's what I did. That's how I motioned for a custody hearing at the divorce court that me and him supposed to be getting divorced at. Then I found out when I called defects, because defects was being so unprofessional and basically one-sided and listening to only his account, because he has a video of me fighting them or fighting her on September 7th. He loves showing everybody that.
To
And
try
that's
to make you like you crazy.
right.
Well, you
And
really
so
fed up because y'all got my fucking baby.
right.
Because she want.
So when I'm speaking to them, initially when I speak to them, it's all yes, ma'am, this and that. We're gonna do this and that. When I get back on the phone with them, ma'am, what you calling me for? Ma'am, I ain't even on your case. Ma'am, look like your baby safe to me. It's real ghetto. And it's real unprofessional, and it's real rushed, and get off my phone, and then they don't answer the phone no more. So when that happened, somebody, because they wanted to toot their horn on how much my husband was so great told me he had a TPO, to be honest with you, told me he had a TPO on me. And I was in shock. I didn't even know a TPO had anything to do with getting custody and stuff. So I immediately rushed to go get one too. And I went to Fulton County. Oh, shoot. Anyway, I went to the county where he
well, guess
lived.
what? We need to be calling down there. We need to call down the Fulton County and get their ass.
I lived in Cobb County. They're very racist and they don't care
They
about
are.
domestic violence victims.
They don't.
And so Cobb County is where he filed a TPO on me, even though I didn't even live in that apartment anymore. And I filed one for him in Fulton. Long story short, the way the restraining orders work is once that person is served, it's in effect. You can go ahead and act like y'all done already went to court, and everything that the TPO says is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. So I immediately rushed. I asked them over the phone for the TPO office. I said, do I have to wait on the sheriff to serve him, or can I get a police officer to do it? They said, yeah, if you call the police officer to escort you with the TPO, they can serve them too. I went to Fulton County at the gas station around the corner from his house, and I called the police, and Fulton County police zone 4, that man told me he could not serve him. And ma'am, I'm sorry, we don't get involved in custody battles. So I'm begging and I'm pleading with him. You don't understand the situation. My husband is an illegal immigrant. My child, he didn't care nothing about her. He wouldn't even pay for child support
he can take that baby to Africa and you never see that baby again.
I told the man all of that. It's on the police report. That man told me, okay, well, let me call my sergeant. Called his sergeant. His sergeant basically must have told him to humor us because he walked away and wouldn't let us hear what the conversation was. So he said, well, ma'am, I can just go around there and ask him, but I can't make him do nothing. I said, well, can you serve him this TPO? Because that'll make him do something. Nah, ma'am, I told you, only sheriffs can do that. So went there, followed him around there to where he was supposed to serve my husband. He takes his precious time. It took about 10 minutes. They come outside. He talking to my husband like they homeboys, like they finna go play. They finna go to the club together. They sitting there in the car, just talking it up. My baby nowhere in sight. So I pull off. We leave. Me and somebody I went with, and I called his sergeant. I called the sheriff's office. I called the police department, asked to speak to the sergeant, got the sergeant on the phone, and told the sergeant with the situation. The sergeant said, oh, I didn't know all of that. Go back. You can get your baby. Go back. I'm going to have him bring you your baby. I went back. This same officer, he didn't show up with my baby. He showed up with his Cobb County TPO and served me a Cobb County TPO in Fulton County, which you're not supposed to do because there's 2 different jurisdictions.
Right.
So he served me his TPO, but he had just told me he couldn't serve him mine. So then I said, well, since you serving TPOs, now can you go back around there and get him mine? He said, ma'am, I sure will. And I won't be able to retrieve your child because both of y'all TPOs basically say the same thing. And since y'all both been served tonight, they both in effect. And at the time, I don't know nothing about jurisdictions and stuff, so I'm taking his word for it.
Right.
I said, well, sir, that's good enough for me. As long as he get it and I get it at the same time. He said, here's a case number, and I'm going to put it on the police report just like I said it. And he literally did. He literally told on himself. It says he served me a Cobb County TPO that night and served my husband the Fulton County TPO as well. And ever since then, it's been a roller coaster because on September 28th, my court date was before his, and Judge Tamika Robowski Houston told me her hands are tied and she cannot make no ruling because he filed a TPO before me. And state of Georgia law is whoever filed first, no matter who was served first, no matter how he was served, no matter who court date was first, whoever filed first matters. And his takes precedence over mine. So she wants me to go to his hearing, and she's going to do a continuance until after his hearing, and she'll see what she can do. So September 28th, I was supposed to be able to be granted protection, and I didn't get granted that. So on October 6th, when I went to his hearing, because he showed up to my hearing with a lawyer, he also showed up October 6th with another lawyer. And me again, a broke domestic violence victim, missing my baby, and so much other things that can't afford a lawyer in Atlanta Legal Aid, Georgia Legal Services, Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers. Everybody's telling me, we can't help you. We can't take your case. We don't have the resources. That is what they're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the resources. I've called so much. I didn't talk to the freaking director. I wish I would have wrote her name down. I have so many names I have to write down now. And she told me they haven't had a grant to have a family law lawyer since 2015. A lot of people get them confused and think that they have these lawyers on hand, but they have to get grants for it. And they don't have lawyers for custody situations and divorce situations anymore. So that's why everyone keeps telling me they don't have the resources. So basically, I'm showing up representing myself in all these things against a real lawyer. And so when October 6th happened, I came and I ended up living in this domestic violence shelter, and I had a legal advocate. And basically, what she told me, even though she can't give me legal advice, she said if someone is not legitimized, that that could be my fight, because she said he and I weren't married at the time of my daughter's birth. So usually when you show a judge that, they're gonna right away stop everything and just give you the baby off of that. So I felt confident. I went in there October 6th. I said, Your Honor, we weren't married on October 7th, 2019, when my daughter was born, and he has not been legitimized. And I would like my daughter back today. And you know what happened? What happened was he showed them that video again. The judge told me he had never seen nothing like that in his life. And the judge told me, he said, and the lawyer said, the statute that shows in Georgia that if you get married after a child is born, it counts as them being legitimized, and that he was legitimate and he was the father. And that judge took every word of it and didn't even look it up, told me to look it up. And he told my husband, told him I don't have a job. He said if I did have a job, I probably made minimum wage, and told the judge he wanted me to pay him on Zelle $352 a month for child support. And the judge ordered it. And the judge said no visitation. He said even if I wanted to let you see your child, your bond condition doesn't allow it. So he said you could try to get it modified if you want to. You might want to try to work on trying to see if your public defender can see about that. But maybe you'll get a judge meaner than me. Maybe you won't. But damn, ma'am, that's the steps you're gonna have to take if you want to try to appeal this. And and he ordered for him to have custody of my child for the next 12 months. I'm on child support, paying him via Zelle, $352 a month now. And I'm living in a shelter, can't even go to work. Been hit by a car and everything else. And also, on top of that, what else? Oh, he wanted me to do a psychiatric evaluation because he said he never seen nothing like that video in his life.
He ain't never seen a mother upset and pissed by her child.
That's what he said.
So this situation is just so fucked up, and I honestly, from my heart, I believe that you was just played from the beginning. This was all a setup. It was all a scheme. This is just what the fuck he was planning on doing, because he already was trying to be married to the other lady. And then, like I tell a lot of women, and not all big women, not all fat women, because people love this. Keandra, you be trying to fat shame. No, the fuck I don't. But this is real shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of men see bigger women and a lot of bigger women that didn't used to be that big or doesn't let themselves go. Their self-esteem is in the fucking toilet.
Right.
And when they come and they give them and then they make them feel beautiful, and like you said, make them feel accepted for how I look now, and you just love it and this and that, and you fall for the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to that's easy to have all my friends fat. So I have seen it all my life. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just I just, hindsight is 2020. Right. Hindsight is 2020.
Well, since then, because I had been calling, I had first of all, from day one, I had been trying to get ICE notified about all of this. And you call the number, and the number tells you to fill out an online form. So that's where I was stuck at for about 2 months, from July to August, just filling out this ICE form. Like, okay, and then they tell you on the ICE form, it's on a case-by-case basis. Basically, if they don't have no criminal acts, you might not never hear from them. They might not even feel like it's important enough to go and pull this person and deport them. So he has never been arrested, but he's done a lot of scheming stuff that I know of, and I reported. And he's actually working right now every day at that same warehouse without a work visa, a driver's license, a green card, no nothing. And so basically I finally figured out that I need to be calling the actual field office in Georgia, in Atlanta. I called the field office every day, all the way up until my court date on September 28th, all the way up until his court date. I just call. And this girl kept telling me, oh, well, call back in 3 days. Don't nobody call you. Call back in 3 days. But every time she tell me to call back, it's always a Thursday. And it's right before the end of the week. Nobody really calls you back. You didn't waste, 3 days. And every day is critical. So basically, long story short, it finally paid off because I started calling other numbers and stuff and finding out other numbers. Got two immigration officers to call me, and I told them what happened, and they said the same thing you said, and that's how I found out about Victim Against Women's Act. They said this is an ongoing situation that all of the immigrants are doing now, and ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know, I can't really like say, because but it sounds like to me you were set up, because this is basically what they do. They create scenarios.
Did he pay you any money to marry you?
Nothing. I didn't even have a real wedding ring.
Because you married him for love, though.
For love. We'll marry him at the courthouse. Now, one of my family members was there. Only person was there was the person that he introduced me to as his brother when I first met him.
That you found out ain't none of his brothers.
Ain't none of his brothers.
Yeah, so that what makes your situation a whole lot different, because I already talked to you about this. You wasn't in a situation where you was, let me get this African man, let me get paid, it's gonna be a quick lick, because I know people that do that.
Right.
But you really met him and you loved him because you had a different, you wasn't in it for the scheme and the money. You had a different way you looked at him because of the people that you hung around, because you hung around Africans, and so they made you feel a different type of way. Exactly. So damn. So let me ask you this. Okay, so with you doing everything that you're doing with immigration and all that kind of stuff, if they were to deport him, would they deport your daughter with him to Africa?
That's why he ain't been deported, because they said, ma'am, unfortunately, now that he had, because they called me after he was granted the TPO, now that he has full custody of your daughter, I don't know what would happen to your daughter, because he has full custody right now, and so we can't deport him right now. If I was to go pick him up, which I can, he would just be detained and be detained for a few hours, because he has a American-born child that he's supposed to be taking care of.
I would let him get detained and let DCFS come get my children. You can't get no family member.
They said that they don't know what's gonna happen. I want them to do that, but he said it probably just gonna start processes. And he said by him having a court order that says that he is the safe parent right now, it probably won't work out like that.
Okay.
So they said you need to work on trying to get her back. And this was before my custody hearing at divorce court. They said you need to try to work on getting her back, and hopefully that, he said, pray. And he said, hopefully that custody hearing at divorce court works in your favor. And it didn't, because now he was better than the other TPO judges, because when you go to the restraining order judges, they only want to hear about physical violence and nothing else. They don't want to hear what led up to it. They don't want to hear other facets of domestic violence. So they told me at my last hearing, Judge Tamika Robaski Houston and Judge Murphy, the one who granted all of this stuff, told me that my best bet was to talk to the divorce court judge if I wanted to tell them the whole story, because that's the only one that was gonna care and listen, because that's that part of Superior Court that care and listen. And I went and I told him, and he did listen, but he said, ma'am, I'm sorry, we're not here for that today. We actually really have to talk about what's beneficial and what's in the best interest of the child. And he said, once I got done saying everything and his lawyer got done saying everything, he said, well, I'm going to do like the doctors do, because my husband started lying about taking her to a pediatrician that she's never been before. He said, well, and I was able to prove that fact that there was a lie. He said, well, I'm going to do like the doctors do. He said, I'm going to do no harm. So I'm not going to change anything right now that's been put in place. But what I am going to do is I'm going to appoint your daughter a guardian ad litem. and I'm gonna find that person myself personally, and I'm gonna figure out how to pay for it. And he said, and so you keep your phone open. And he said, I know you're at a shelter right now, and that's usually temporary. Is it okay if I could send the mail that you're going to need for this to that location? I said, yes, sir, it is. And he said, okay. He said, well, keep looking out for your phone, because one of these days this week, the guardian ad litem is going to call you. So that's where I'm at with everything right now. But I still need to appeal to TPO. I still have not been called by a guardian ad litem, and I still don't have a lawyer.
So what do you need? What do you need as far as to help you start getting with the lawyer? Have you set up a GoFundMe, right?
Yes, I set up a GoFundMe. Right now, from calling so many different consultation places and Googling so many people and trying to figure out who takes payment plans, I was able to find a modest means program here for a lawyer. And I have not spoken to her yet, so I'm just speaking this and hoping for the best. And if someone's watching now and would be willing to take a payment plan or even help me pro bono, that would even be more of a blessing, because I still got to pay my bail that I told you is $22,000 to stay up out here. And I got to pay child support now, and I'm living in a shelter. So I really don't have the money, but for my baby, I'm making a way out of no way. So basically, right now, money is the only thing that can help me, it looks like, in a lawyer.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working for. I'm working towards trying to collect enough money to afford a payment plan with a lawyer who could represent me for how many hours, I don't know, because it's so intricate and there's so many moving parts to my situation.
Right.
It ain't gonna be no one and done. It's gonna be a few hours that I gotta pay for.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna share your do you have time to answer a few questions before we go?
Okay.
If I was going to say, if you want, you can go talk downstairs in the living room.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do that.
Say that way you have that privacy.
Okay.
And yeah, and if you don't mind, put the chair back.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
sure.
You, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm in the shelter.
That's okay. I've been in the shelter.
Yeah.
So what? Let's see. Would you like to answer a few questions, because there's some questions on here.
And I don't see anything popping up. I don't know if I should be seeing stuff.
I see it on my end.
Okay.
Once you come off here and you go watch the video, you will see all the
okay.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let me tell you something about my audience. They watch me for a reason, because we're a lot alike. We're very blunt and direct. And let's see.
That's fine.
Okay, so somebody said, okay, so we have a question. So Linda said, were you that in love that you allowed it?
It wasn't about love. It was about control and conditioning. I was in love at one point, but at another point, at that point with my daughter, it became pure me being so codependent and so without a support system.
And scared you gonna end up right where you at right now.
Pretty much. And already here anyway. Should have ended up here anyway.
Yeah. Let's see. Fulton County not allowing that. Stupid is the word you're looking for. I'm sorry. I just don't understand. You should have left and slept on the street if you had to. I'm not judging, because I know it's not easy. But you waited. Let me see. But you waited to. If you waited to tell, they're not going to believe you, because they're going to think it's retaliation on your part.
That is there. I'm trying not to talk loud. There's some truth to that, I guess. That is the case, but actually that is actually the norm for domestic violence victims. They don't say anything for fear of their life until they're actually away from their abuser. And a lot of times they don't report things until after all the events have happened. And I'm a domestic violence victim, and that is also my case. So once I get the proper lawyer that can explain the actual effects of domestic violence, that will come into play, and it will be brought to light. Yes.
Okay. So you were okay with it as long as you were with him?
No, it was not that. It was not that I was okay with it as long as I was with him. It was the simple fact that he was never home, and I thought I could make the situation where I monitored and was able to make it a cohabiting situation that was still safe for her, and we were still able to try to get on our feet in a gradual way, to where even though he was there, he wasn't harming her and I was there, and we were still getting taken care of to where I could end up independent. So that's what it was.
Okay, so what it sounds like you're saying is trying to stay in the relationship long enough to get on your own feet.
Yes.
Was the intention to leave?
Yes, I was saving money. I was waiting on Section 8 applications to the housing voucher to open up so I could apply. I'm still waiting on housing vouchers to open up because I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a hot ticket right now. Everybody trying to get a housing voucher and live here. So it's not a one and done like it should be, and the application process wasn't open every time I checked. So it ended up being a situation where I started looking for low income apartments and trying to figure out the fact that I'm married and I can't get government assistance because I'm married, and not knowing how to properly go about all of this without a lawyer and no money. Like, just literally thinking what I got to do today, because all these things take processes. So today, what I could do is save my little checks without him knowing and try to get up out of here. And that's what it ended up being.
Okay. Tasha says, damn, now I can't stop thinking about this baby. How old is she now?
She's 1 year old now.
She just turned 1.
Just turned 1 October 7th.
Okay. All right. Maybe you should.
She can't talk. She doesn't talk. That's another thing that's upsetting. Because she said, can she say what's going on to her, if anything?
Oh, she too young.
She too young, but everybody keeps saying she just fine. The defects people. And I'm like, how do you know a baby's just fine and can't talk?
Okay, Keita said, illegal immigrant, so you did a fake marriage. No, her marriage wasn't fake.
No, it wasn't fake. I did not get any money for it. I didn't get no wedding ring. I didn't even have a real wedding. I got married at a courthouse. So no, that was me trying to be a good wife and think that we was going to eventually get those things later on in life, because I was really in love.
Okay. Let me see. Who else?
She said she lost sympathy. She said, this remind me of Precious. I, for some reason, have lost sympathy for mom. Lord protect the baby. Well, this is not a Precious scenario. I've actually seen that movie. I don't look like Precious. Even at 275, I wasn't Precious. But for me, being fit, going to the gym everyday person, the outcome of me reaching 275 and feeling the way I felt based off of grieving for my mom and other factors in my life with my family and my shortcomings, that was my scenario. But Precious was a teenager that was extremely obese and experiencing abuse from her mother and ended up getting HIV from getting raped from the father. That's not the same scenario.
All right. Well, I empathize with you.
Thank you.
I really do. Mm-hmm. I empathize with you. I do think that I it's just like when people stay in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
People say, well, they getting their ass whooped and the kids be involved and all kind of shit, and people be saying leave. And a lot of times it's not that easy to leave. Now, I've never been in an abusive relationship with nobody whooping my ass, because I don't get my ass whooped. But I know people that have, and I know when I was younger and didn't know any better, I couldn't understand why they stayed. But when the nigga came and got him from my house and beat him from out my house all the way back into the car, I understood.
Right.
That they're easy to fucking leave. So I'm not gonna sit here and judge you on
Thank
this
you.
because you're going through enough.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're going through enough. You're going through enough. You lost your baby to this motherfucker, to these scheming ass niggas. Yes. And I'm gonna keep you in prayer. And
Thank
and
you.
and anybody who is on here who can give her some good advice or
Yeah.
who can point her in the right direction. I have a big fan base in Alabama. If somebody in Birmingham knows where she can turn to go to, hit me up in the DM or hit her up in her DM and I'll get the message to her. The shit already been done.
Yes.
This is her first and only child that she has. I'm not gonna sit on here and bash you, ma'am. I think that some
Thank you.
decisions that you could have made could have been better.
Thank you. Yes, that's
I
true.
think there's some shit
And
that you
I
could have
agree.
done different.
Right. Right.
But it's done,
Right.
and now you know that them
Right.
Africans is lying, and now you know when the first time you see somebody trying to try your baby with some bullshit, fuck it, go sleep in the car.
Right.
Sleep in the
Right.
car, sleep outside, whatever you got to do. But I'm
Right.
not going to sit here and beat you down because I personally know that you already right here with it. You
Yeah.
already, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody, and I don't want nobody to bully her, y'all, because let me tell y'all something. Yeah, she fucked up. Now, some of this shit stupid as fuck, and I'm just going to keep it real and shit that she could have done different. But let me tell you, when somebody already up here, don't bully her, y'all, because people take themselves out with shit like this. Because I
Right.
almost took myself out behind my daughter. Because
Right.
if anybody know, my weakness is my kids. My kids,
Right.
I can live without a man. I can
Mhm.
live without a mother.
Me
I can
too.
live without a father. All of
Mhm.
that shit. But my
Right.
children are everything to me.
Right.
So don't do that. But yeah, you could have did some shit different. But if anybody
Exactly.
know any kind of way that somebody can help her or get her some good legal advice or somebody who she could talk to, hit us up. She ain't did nothing no worse than what people do when they dumb as fuck and with a nigga and make some dumbass fucking decisions.
Yeah.
She did the same shit. Imagine
Yeah.
not having no mama, not having no dad. You got sisters and brothers?
Yes. I got a sister and a brother. Mhm.
Not having nobody to show you what the fuck that you
Right.
do or to be there to say, I'm pretty sure your daddy, look, this, you don't got to be with this motherfucker. If your mama was living, you could take you and your child and go to your
Right.
mom's house.
Right.
You got
I
that.
didn't
I'm
have
not
that.
going to sit here and beat you up on here because I
Thank
know
you.
what it is to have a mother but not have a mother.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
you can hit me up at any time.
Yeah. So the GoFundMe is Love Amarellis. Or you could just
I'm going to share it on my page.
okay.
So,
Okay. I'll send you
so
the
you
link.
send it to me.
Yeah.
And
And
then
and and again, I'm not, and I'm aware that these things sound highly stupid, and they are stupid,
They
and
are.
I take full, I know, but also understand that, like she said, I don't have nobody. I didn't have nobody then, and this is my first situation of ever experiencing somebody even being this crazy and evil towards their own child, and it's my child. And I'm in a position where I don't even know how to find the resources or the help that I need. I'm talking to people that's giving me bad advice and everything else. And going through my own situations where you have a child and you have postpartum, everything else. And not to make excuses, but all of these things are factors, and I'm a human being. And me still fighting every day should prove it to anybody and everyone that I, the person who actually birthed her, love my child more than anybody here that just heard her story today. I'm sitting here right here to try to get help for my child to get out of the situation still to this day. As embarrassing as this is, do anybody want to tell people this? No.
Right.
It's very
Or that you was this stupid for a motherfucker.
I was stupid.
We all have been.
Stupid. I don't have not one dime. If I had got paid from an African for a fake marriage, you think I'd be sitting here begging somebody for a GoFundMe to get a lawyer to
Because
fight this guy? I
because
don't even have a ring.
right, because you're dropping because you to come on here you gotta drop all your pride.
Thank you.
All
That's what I'm doing for my baby.
right. So look, my computer gonna cut off. We at 3%.
Thank you. Okay.
No, you look, I love you. I don't
Love
gotta
you
know
too.
you to love you. I empathize with you.
Thank you.
I'm here to talk anytime you need to talk to somebody or get it off your chest. We can cuss his ass out together when you feel like it. I'm that girl.
Yeah.
And anybody on here that can reach out to her and help her, you know what I'm saying? Please do reach out to me so I can make sure that she get the message. So I just want to tell you, thank you so much for coming on here today. Thank you for choosing my platform because you didn't, because everybody know I'm a little crazy, but people still love me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, I love you. That's yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on here, and I appreciate it. And girl, we gonna see what we can do. We gonna see. Let me tell you, we have people that be working in the background. You know, so we gonna see what we can do. We gonna see what all us girls can do to put this together and try to get you some help. Y'all make sure y'all share this video just like y'all did Tara video. Please share this video because first of all, everybody needs to hear this story.
Yes. And
also because she need help, y'all. She need help. She don't have it. She need help, and she deserves to have her baby. But this is her only child, her only marriage, and the only baby that she got in this world. She don't got nobody else. So
thank you.
Share the video, because sharing it take it a long way. Just doing it, you'll never know who's gonna see it. So thank y'all so much for joining me. And y'all know I love everybody that love me, and I fuck with everybody